So before working on Charlie's Spaceship, I studied graphic design in high school and did a little bit of motion graphics and stop motion there. And then in undergrad, I studied filmmaking, and on the side, kind of on YouTube, learned a little bit of rotoscope animation. So that was kind of my background in learning how to make films, kind of like a combination of different places and different sources of knowledge. And some projects I worked on before was another music video that was rotoscoped, and just kind of smaller filmmaking assignments that kind of taught me the basics of editing and storyboarding and all of this stuff that really helped Charlie come together. So Charlie's Spaceship is a music video I worked on with Anthony Frijia, a friend musician. We had both just been laid off from, during the time of the pandemic as baristas. And we were like, let's work on something, let's collaborate. So we just started in, I want to say May of 2020, and it went until October. And it's a mix of rotoscope animation and traditional 2D animation and some motion graphics. I would describe it as like very, very magical, mystical, romantic. I really tried to honor the lyrics of the song. So the music video, the visuals were really guided by the story that the song was telling. It's really a simple style of black and white, so that I could really complete this as a rotoscope project. So my favorite filmmakers, I love Michel Gondry. Eternal Sunshine is one of my favorite movies of all time. Just the way it's crafted visually and narratively, the way it like breaks itself apart and then comes together is one of my favorite things, and something I really hope to kind of play with as a filmmaker, getting into more non-linear storytelling. I also really love, in the animation world, Zachary Zezima, who did one of my favorite pieces called It's a Date. And I really look to them as a source of inspiration for just like pushing things to the next like weird level, and a really good source of like color inspiration. So yeah, they are definitely one of my favorite animators. So if I were given a good budget, my ideal project right now would be a live action animation hybrid series following 4 female animators, and anything that kind of takes place in their life. We see live action, and then at the especially emotional moments, it would break into their individual style of animation. So say one of the characters has like a rotoscope practice, like if something happens and it cuts to an animated scene in their rotoscope style. Say someone has like a 3D style, it would cut to that style if they're having a moment. So I think it'd be really cool to dive into the world of female animators and also let that kind of guide the structure and the experience of the show. So for production schedule, we really didn't have like a full plan. It just kind of was rolling along, and we knew like September, October was the hopeful release date. So it was kind of just a process of steadily working on it. Again, it started during the pandemic, so I didn't have a job at the beginning of the project. I did, thankfully, by the conclusion of the project, and so it really turned from kind of working on this all day to working on this when I had the free time and after work. But thankfully, as I went along and was animating more and more, it was faster and faster. So by the end, the scenes were getting knocked out a lot quicker. And so that really helped with helping us keep on schedule. The hardest part of making Charlie's Spaceship was definitely the traditional 2D stuff. Again, I hadn't had like a professional education in traditional animation. It was more filmmaking and like motion graphics, stop motion. So the rotoscoping was easy because I was just tracing over the videos and like compiling and compositing. But learning how to combine that with 2D animation in the more traditional sense, and actually learning like, okay, like this is how I do in-betweens, and this is how I get this shot to work. It was a combination of like YouTube tutorials and trial and error, and it really helped me push past what I thought my limits were with traditional 2D animation. So my next project, I'm currently in a 3D grad program and I'm working on my thesis film, which is an animated 2D, 3D music video. Our character is a disgusting woman living in New York. She starts off as a 2D character in a 3D world, and then she goes to a bachelorette party, is confronted with her difference in femininity and being kind of like this gross character, and then through some events and transformations, she breaks free of these, kind of limiting beliefs and becomes a 3D character in a 3D world. So I'm very excited to be working on that, and things are rolling along in production right now.